Hello, Celtic supporters. Welcome back to your go-to spot for all things Celtic, where we break down the latest news, transfer chatter, and everything in between. First off, a massive shout-out to all the new subscribers joining the family. Your support genuinely keeps this community alive and buzzing. Now, if you are passionate about the hoops, you know what to do. Stick around, engage, and keep the energy flowing, because Celtic is once again at the heart of some very intriguing developments this transfer window. And let me tell you, the story I am about to unfold might just be one of the more interesting ones we've seen in quite a while, not least because it touches on a signing that could have a real impact on the squad as we move into the crucial part of the season. Reports have been circulating that Celtic are lining up a move for Seor, a Canadian international currently plying his trade with Hajduk Split. Now, this is the sort of signing that catches the eye immediately because it offers versatility, experience, and the kind of pedigree you want in a player stepping into a side that is constantly balancing domestic dominance with European ambitions. There have been a few twists along the way, of course, which is typical in the transfer world, but the underlying interest appears to be genuine. Initial reports suggested that the transfer might have been on the brink of completion, only to be paused due to managerial changes at Parkhead. Wilfred Nancy's departure seemed to throw a spanner in the works, but it's important to note that Celtic's interest hasn't wavered. It's just that negotiations are still in the early stages, with personal terms yet to be agreed upon and no official deal confirmed as of now. Seor's profile is particularly compelling. He has spent several years establishing himself as a key figure in Hajduk Split's starting 11, predominantly featuring as a defensive midfielder, but showing the kind of adaptability that Celtic could find invaluable. He can slot in at right back or even cover on the right side of midfield if needed, providing a level of tactical flexibility that can help a manager cope with the inevitable twists and turns of a long season. For Celtic, who have been discussing the need for a defensive midfielder for quite some time, this is an opportunity to bring in a player who not only fills a gap, but also has experience at a competitive level that translates well to Scottish football. The timing is interesting too, with Martin Neil now firmly in charge. There seems to be a green light for moves that align with his vision, and Seor fits the bill as someone who could enhance the squad both immediately and over the coming years as part of a broader midfield evolution. The context around this potential signing is also worth exploring. Seor is represented by the SA33 agency, a group that already has well-established links with Celtic through players such as Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly, and Isef Juranovic. This connection could be crucial in facilitating negotiations and smoothing the path toward an eventual agreement. While the transfer fee hasn't been officially confirmed, speculation puts it somewhere in the region of 3 to 5 million euros, reflecting both his experience and the interest he has attracted from other clubs, including Wolves in the Premier League. The fact that Celtic are reportedly ahead in the race suggests that the club's scouting and relationship-building efforts are paying off, particularly in markets like Croatia, which have historically been fruitful for the Hoops when seeking talent outside the more obvious leagues. It's also worth highlighting the timing of this potential move. Celtic have had a somewhat unsettled start to the season in terms of coaching changes, which can often disrupt transfer plans, but the strategic logic behind signing a player like Seor is clear. The midfield, especially in the defensive pivot, has been an area of concern. Callum McGregor, while still immensely talented, has been stretched in recent seasons, and a player like Saga could provide the necessary cover and energy in that position. He brings not just defensive solidity, but also a willingness to press and engage across the field, which is precisely what the Hoops have lacked in moments this season. This isn't just about adding numbers, it's about addressing a structural need that could pay dividends in both domestic and European competitions. Looking at his international experience, Seor has already been capped 15 times for Canada and scored twice, showing he can contribute at the highest levels. He is a candidate for the upcoming World Cup squad, which further underlines his quality and readiness to step into a team with Celtic's ambitions. The versatility he offers means he can be deployed in multiple roles depending on the opposition and tactical requirements. It's this adaptability combined with a professional track record in a competitive European league that makes him such a compelling prospect. Celtic have had a history of nurturing talent from similar leagues, players who arrive ready to make an impact while still offering long-term potential, and Seor appears to fit that mold perfectly. The broader picture is also worth noting. The central midfield at Celtic is approaching a period of transition. McGregor, Real Hitati, and other midfielders may not be part of the long-term plan, and the next few transfer windows will be crucial in redefining the spine of the squad. A player like Seor could serve as a foundational piece, providing reliability in the defensive midfield position, while also allowing for a gradual restructuring around him. The club needs energy, tactical awareness, and versatility in the middle of the park, and Seor brings all of these qualities. Moreover, his experience in European qualifiers and first-team football for Hajduk Split means he arrives with both a winning mentality and the resilience required for Scottish football's demanding schedule. While there is still a long way to go before anything is finalised, the signs so far are encouraging. Celtic are reportedly monitoring the situation closely, and with Martin Neil now settled, the green light for moves that align with the club's vision seems more attainable than ever. This is not just a signing for the sake of adding depth. It appears to be a strategic acquisition aimed at addressing a key weakness and preparing for life beyond McGregor's peak years. For fans, it is a refreshing change to see a player linked who not only fills an immediate need, but also has the potential to grow with the club over several seasons. In terms of immediate impact, Seor could be just the injection of energy the Hoops' midfield has been craving. The defensive midfielder role requires stamina, tactical intelligence, and an ability to link defense with attack. And Seor has demonstrated all of these qualities at Hajduk Split. He has also contributed with a goal and an assist this season, showing he can influence the game in both directions. His arrival could enable Celtic to rotate more effectively, cover injuries, and maintain a high level of intensity throughout matches, which has sometimes been a challenge in the first half of the season. It's this blend of versatility, experience, and dynamism that makes him such an attractive prospect for the club at this stage of the transfer window. As we look deeper into Nikiko Seor's profile, it becomes clear why Celtic are so keen on him. His time at Hajduk Split has not just been about racking up appearances, it has been about developing a player with tactical intelligence, stamina, and a capacity to adapt to multiple systems. Over the past 4 seasons, Seor has consistently featured in the starting lineup, and his performances suggest a player who thrives under pressure, something Celtic will demand given the dual challenges of the Scottish Premiership and European fixtures on the modern game, especially in Scotland, requires midfielders who are not only defensively sound, but capable of transitioning quickly into attack, and Seor fits this mold perfectly. His reading of the game allows him to intercept passes, break up play, and then either distribute safely or push forward when the opportunity arises. This kind of football intelligence is exactly what Martin Neil will be looking to integrate into the squad as he shapes a team capable of sustaining domestic success while competing in Europe. Celtic fans will also be intrigued by Seor's versatility. While primarily a defensive midfielder, he has been deployed as a right-back and even in more advanced wide positions when tactical circumstances demanded it. This adaptability is gold for a manager who needs to adjust formations without compromising the balance of the team. Injuries, suspensions, and fixture congestion are constants in the Scottish game, and having a player who can comfortably switch positions without a dip in performance is invaluable. Moreover, Seor's ability to slot into multiple roles is complemented by his physical attributes. While not the most imposing player on the pitch, his engine and work rate allow him to cover large areas, press opponents, and maintain a high tempo throughout matches. For Celtic, who have sometimes struggled to maintain intensity in midfield over 90 minutes, this could be a key factor in sustaining control and dominance across the season. Another angle that makes Seor particularly appealing is his international experience. 15 caps for Canada, 2 goals, and a role in the national team setup gives him a maturity that comes from exposure to varied playing styles and high-pressure environments. Representing your country demands resilience, concentration, and a capacity to adapt quickly, all traits that Celtic will value highly. His international background also signals an ability to cope with different tactical systems, which can translate to flexibility at club level. In modern football, where managers frequently adjust formations mid-game, having a player who understands positioning, spacing, and timing on a continental level can provide the squad with an edge. This is particularly relevant as Celtic look to strengthen their squad for European competitions, where the tactical demands are markedly different from domestic play. Seor's potential impact at Celtic is not purely defensive. He has already contributed directly to goals from his midfield position, showing that he can join attacks intelligently without leaving the team exposed. His ability to read the game allows him to pick moments to push forward or support wide players, which enhances Celtic's overall fluidity in possession. With players like Callum McGregor likely nearing the latter stages of their prime, and others potentially on their way out over the next few transfer windows, the arrival of Seor could serve as a bridge. He can learn from the more experienced midfielders while gradually assuming a more central role, ensuring that Celtic maintain continuity and leadership in the heart of the pitch. This is crucial for long-term planning, particularly as the club looks to sustain dominance in the Premiership and aim for deeper runs in European competitions. The connection between Seor's agency, SA33, and Celtic cannot be overlooked. The agency already represents several players at Parkhead, providing an established channel that could facilitate smoother negotiations and integration. Relationships matter in football transfers, and knowing that the representatives are familiar with the club's culture, expectations, and standards gives Celtic a significant advantage. This network could ensure that Seor arrives not only as a player who fits tactically, but also someone who adapts quickly to the club environment, the demands of Scottish football, and the passionate scrutiny of the supporters. Such familiarity could also reduce the adjustment period, allowing him to make an impact sooner rather than later. Financially, this move seems pragmatic. While figures are yet to be confirmed, estimates suggest a fee in the €3 to €5 million range for a player of his experience, versatility, and international background. This appears to be a fair valuation. Celtic have historically had success in markets like Croatia, Scandinavia, and other European leagues outside the so-called Big Five, identifying talent that can perform immediately while retaining potential for future development. Seor ticks all the right boxes in this regard: seasoned enough to contribute from day one, young enough to grow with the club, and versatile enough to cover multiple positions. This combination of factors makes him an ideal candidate for a strategic signing aimed at strengthening the squad sustainably. Tactically, his arrival could provide Martin Neil with more options in the midfield. Celtic have sometimes struggled to find balance between defensive solidity and attacking creativity, and Seor's profile addresses both concerns. He can shield the back line effectively while also contributing to forward transitions, giving the team a more dynamic approach in possession. In high-pressure matches, whether in the Premiership or Europe, having a midfielder who can read the game, intercept intelligently, and maintain positional discipline is crucial. His work rate and intelligence could also relieve some of the burden on McGregor, who has carried a heavy load in recent seasons, allowing the captain to operate with greater freedom and efficiency. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers in Glasgow are growing louder as the old firm rivalry edges into yet another chapter of transfer intrigue. Sources close to the club corridors suggest that Rangers have missed out in what was shaping up to be one of the most tantalizing young talent bids of the season. The buzz? Celtic have reportedly emerged victorious in the scramble to secure the signature of Lennon Miller, a promising midfield dynamo tipped to be the next big thing in Scottish football. Miller, whose performances at youth level have had scouts drooling, is said to have impressed with his composure, vision, and versatility in the middle of the park at just the right age to develop into a long-term linchpin. Insiders hint that Celtic see him as more than just a short-term addition. He is being groomed as the heartbeat of their midfield for years to come. Rumor has it that meetings behind closed doors focused on how Miller could slot seamlessly into the tactical setup, offering both defensive stability and creative spark. Meanwhile, Rangers fans are said to be left scratching their heads, pondering what went wrong in the final stages of negotiations. Talk in the corridors of Ibrox suggests that the club was never quite able to match the financial package or guarantee Miller the pathway Celtic were willing to offer. Speculation now runs rampant that this could spur Rangers into action elsewhere, perhaps to ensure they do not fall behind in the race for Scotland's brightest emerging stars. The football grapevine is already alive with conjecture about how Miller will adapt to the pressure of being a young talent at a club with such lofty expectations. Some insiders suggest that his intelligence on the ball and his knack for reading the game could see him rise quickly, while others caution that stepping into the cauldron of an old firm atmosphere is never without its challenges. Either way, Celtic appear to have made a statement. The hunt for homegrown excellence is fierce, and they are determined to secure the next generation before rivals can intervene. What remains tantalizingly uncertain is how soon Miller will feature for the first team, and whether his arrival could shift the balance in one of Scottish football's oldest feuds. If the murmurs are anything to go by, this could be the start of a new era, with Celtic betting big on youth and Rangers left to regroup and plot their next move in the ever-competitive landscape of Scottish football. One thing is for sure, the old firm rivalry is far from cooling, and the Lennon Miller saga has only just begun. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.